If you're doing something because you have to, it's unlikely you like it. If you're doing something because you like to, that means you have the ability to not do it 1 or 2 days a week whenever you feel like it, and you'll like it even more. So I framed this video and I framed this podcast under one question. Are you trapped? My question to you is, do you want to get untrapped? Hey guys, welcome to the Painter's Circle, where we help painting business owners scale their operations, increase profitability, and gain more time freedom. I'm Taz Mullis, and in this podcast, I'll share actionable tips, expert strategies, and real-world insights that'll help you grow your painting business without burning you out. Ready to take your painting business to the next level? Let's go. Oh yeah! Hey guys, and we're back. Trust you're super well. Now I'm going to cover a topic about, are you trapped in your painting business? This would have to be the most asked question I get about business owners, painting business owners, feeling like they're trapped in their business. They're micromanaging, every decision comes through them. They feel like everything has to be done by them, otherwise it doesn't get done right. Do you feel the same? I know I did. Once upon a time, I used to be on the tools, I used to be running and doing quotes, HR, trestle, scaffolding, all the admin, doing everything myself. And there's a certain way that you can build your business that becomes a trap, or you can build your business where it becomes leverage and you can work yourself out of the business. So what I'm gonna do today is I'm gonna break down why you're trapped, how you became trapped, and more importantly, doing the opposite to help you get out of it and only work in the areas that you really enjoy doing. How's that sound to you? Cool? Cool. All right, let's do it. So, this is not a new thing, but I'm going to run you through this basic model, which is the 3 core functions of every painting business that I've ever worked with or in my entire career. So, it starts with input. Input is everything to do with sales and marketing. Now, just in case, sales and marketing are not the same thing. Marketing is getting clients to the door. Sales is getting clients through the door. So everything in input is sales and marketing. Everything in input is where you make money. It's the only place that I know in a painting business where you make money. Trust me. Throughput is scheduling and delivery. So everything that has to do with operations. So once you've won the job, you have to do the job. So you make the money here and you spend the money in throughput. Labor, materials, contractors, scaffolding, whatever it is all in throughput. The third function is output. Output is business management. So everything that's left over to track the money. You make it, you spend it, how did you go? Marketing, how did you go? Sales, how did you go? Everything in output, its main function is to track the performance of the entire business. So you can get the information over here and come back over here and either, okay, I need to check my pricing, or I have a performance problem, or I have a pipeline problem. So those are the 3 core areas of every painting business. Now, where are you trapped? Let me break this down for you. So, on average, I want you to sit down and work out in your business, where do you sit the most? I'm going to pick a typical painting business owner that I talk to. For the most part, they spend at least 30 hours in all operational activity, whether that be on the tools, running the jobs, setting up the jobs, organizing the colors, getting delivery, getting scaffold, every activity that happens after the job is won and getting the job from start to finish. They're spending on average 30 hours per week. You may be 25, you may be 55. I don't know what it is for you, but it's really important that you start thinking about where you spend your time. Let's do the exercise right now. Get a piece of paper, draw this, it's pretty easy. 2 vertical lines, 1 horizontal line. I want you to put input, throughput, output. Not rocket science. What average amount of times do you spend on activities that is everything to do with scheduling and delivery of your painting services? Okay? Now, if you've got a painting business, more than likely you are doing some sort of quoting or sales or estimating or relationships or networking or have a website. You're doing some sort of activity. Have a sign at the front. Something's happening. So how much or how many hours are you spending on average per week on sales and marketing related activities? How many hours are you spending taking quote inquiries, booking them in, calling them up, driving to the quote, whether you present the quote live or not, going back to your home office or office, typing out the quote and sending it? If one quote takes you 1 hour and you're doing 10 hours a week, bada bing, bada boom, you got 10 hours per week. Now, there may be some marketing activities, other activities, but on average, let's pick 10. So now we're already at 40 hours a week. The last area is how many hours per week are you spending that isn't marketing or sales related, that isn't scheduling or delivery related? Checking emails, checking accounts, checking invoices, doing payroll. I'm going to pick a conservative, very conservative 10 hours. So in this instance, this business owner is working 50 hours a week on average. What do you work a week on average? Is it 60? Is it 70? Is it 65? Is it 80? Is it 90? I can tell you now, once upon a time, I was easily doing over 90 hours a week consistently for 2 years straight. I burnt out. Should have seen that coming. So for you right now, it's really important that you know where you're spending your time on average. Because if you want to stop being trapped in your business and stop being the bottleneck and stop being the go-to for everything in your business, we need to identify where you're getting trapped first. Cool? Cool. Amazing. So now we know where you're at. I want to explain to you a story about potentially how you got into business in the first place. Okay? So this may not be for you, but it is for the majority of people that I speak to. Once upon a time, you were on the tools working for someone. Okay? I don't know if you just walk straight into business or painting business and not knowing anything about painting, but for the majority of people I speak to, they were the painter before they became the business owner. So you're over here, happily working away. That's a brush. With your brush in your hand, working for somebody. Might have been a small crew, might have been a big crew. And then what happened was you went, you know what? I reckon I could do this better than my boss. Or if I went and worked for myself, I would make more money. Or, oh, my boss is such a dick. I want to go and work for myself and I don't want to work for anymore. And you had this aha moment and you went, okay. My Auntie Mary, she just asked me for a painting quote. She says, hey, Taz, can you come and give me a quote to paint the inside of my house? Now, I don't know if Auntie Mary sounds like that, but let's assume she does. So then all of a sudden, you go over here and you quote her house. And you go, this is unreal. I got a job. And now guess what? You give her a number. Your first sale, your first quote. Not much marketing, but you're in sales. You're off and running. But what's the next step that happens? You were on the tools with someone else. You got the opportunity. You went out there. You quoted it. You want it. Now you have to do it. So guess what? You're back over here again. Back on the tools. Natural progression. But then you realize you do that job for Auntie Mary and her neighbor, Jimbo, says, hey, Taz, can you give me a quote for my house? And you're back over here again. Back over here for Jimbo. Another quote. But now you realize this job's too big. I can't do this one. What am I going to do over here? So you ask a mate to help you. You know another mate's a painter. You go and talk to one of the guys that you used to work with, And all of a sudden, it's you plus one. So there's two of you on the tools. And now you've started a business. And you go, woohoo, I'm making money. I'm choosing my hours. Life's good. I'm going to nail it. Here I come, Elon Musk. Fair enough. But then over time, what you realize is you get busier at a person, busier and busier. And you're doing more quotes, more quotes, more quotes. But guess what else happens? You become the chief admin person. So once upon a time was sending one quote and one invoice. Now you're doing quotes, invoices, progress payments, HR, recruitment, time tracking, payroll, reconciling paint accounts, sending invoices, debtors, managing the business, tracking the financials, and all of a sudden you've got this hat on now. So you're wearing three hats. Once upon a time you were working with someone, you had the painter hat on. Life was good. Then you thought, oh, I can do this job. I can make more money, which you are correct, but you are doing more work. Then you hire someone to help you. You quote more work, you hire someone else, quote more work. All of a sudden now, guess what? You're micromanaging this person, this person, this person, this person, and all the clients over here. And that's how you get to the spot where once upon a time you're a painter, and then you came to be, you might not like it, you're a salesperson. Now you're the salesperson, the painter, and the admin. And all of a sudden, your 40 hours a week that you used to work for someone is turned into 50 hours a week. Now, it's only 10 hours. But the difference is, if you don't do it, something falls apart. So if you don't do your 10 hours a week for a couple of weeks, guess what? You don't make sales. Ba-ba. Guess what? You don't do your 10 hours a week over here and send invoices or collect invoices or do reconciliations or make sure you're tracking how much you're spending on jobs, how much time taken on jobs. You lose money. Ba-ba. Does any of this sound familiar to you? Have any of you got into business this way? So typically, when we start in business, we end up at input, we get to throughput and do it, and then we have output. And we recycle this process over and over again. And inherently, what we do as business owners, we try and optimize every step of the process, which is a good idea. More importantly, is how do we get ourselves out of this trap? Now, when I burnt out, each one of these increased. This was sitting at 30 to 40. This was sitting at about 15, 20. And this was sitting about 15, 20. It's easy to get to 70, 80, 90 hours a week. Very easy. Because what I have not included in any of those hours, I've included 0 hours in getting better. Now, for me, I had to learn mild. I had to go sit in a class with other, at the time, females that were all bookkeepers to learn mild. So this is pre-2000. We got discs. We put it in a computer. We downloaded it. I had to learn everything about how to use MIB as an accounting software. I had 0 idea. So that was on top of this. So not only was I learning how to be good at sales and marketing, I already knew how to paint. I had to dedicate some time over here. I had to learn how to do this because I had no idea. Learn Office, learn Excel, Microsoft. This is pre-all Microsoft. I had to learn all this computer. I had to learn how to build systems and processes because this was getting crazy busy over here. And that's what happened. I burnt out. 2002, burnout #1. Because I was doing all these activities, like you're doing all these activities, at the same time trying to learn extra things so I could get better at those things. That's the trap. This is where painting business owners continually get trapped because they feel like by working more in one of these is the way out. Working more won't fix the problem. Being the bottleneck won't fix the problem. Doing everything won't fix the problem. What we need to do is buy your time back. Now, in all of these areas, There are parts of it that require you and parts that don't require you. So if you were to think about where you make the money in your business, I'm going to keep it really, really simple. For example, we're going to talk about where you add the most value to your business. When I say value, I'm not saying that each of these areas isn't important, but each of them has a value of your time. If you have a limited amount of time, 40, 50, 60, 70 hours per week, ideally you want to spend it on the highest value activity. Now, let's break it down before we get into showing you how to get unstuck or get out of the trap of your painting business. So some round numbers, okay? Round numbers. Let's say, for instance, you have $1 million a year painting business, okay? You do $1 million worth of turnover and you're averaging 10 hours per week in everything to do with sales and marketing, which is where you make the money, remember? So 10 hours, and I'll go on a 50-year week, so it's easy for my maths. 10 by 50 is 500 hours. So 500 hours per year, you're spending on average on income generating activities. Cool? All right. Now, the maths doesn't lie. If you did 500,000, 750,000, or this million, just follow the same formula. Remember, $1 million, 500 hours, if you divide that, $1 million, by the time you take to spend in sales and marketing, guess what that equals? $2,000 per hour. So in your business, if you did 500,000 and you still did 500 hours per year, it's $1,000 per hour. So for every hour of your activities in income generation to the business, because you make money here, it's equal to your total revenue divided by the total number of hours you do in that area. Okay? I want to show you something else. If you do 10 hours a week in output, that's 500 hours per year. I do not know how to make money here. So I can make money here. This is a cost. So if you're paying yourself, I'm going to keep it really simple, $50 an hour over here, you're paying yourself $50 an hour to do this because you can pay yourself each week a number and it's split up over those different tasks, $50 an hour, and it costs you 50 by 10, that's $500 per week to do that job. If you replace you and pay someone $50 per hour, it would cost you $500. But guess what? You're making $2,000 an hour over here. So if this costs you $50 an hour and you can make $2,000 an hour, how much time do you want to spend doing this than this? Probably a lot. Let's go over here. $50 per hour. Let's say you charge your painters out. Or if you're on the tools, you charge them out at $80, $90, $95, $100, $105, whatever you charge them out, you can sell their time for $80 an hour. You can make money off that because maybe it cost you 45 and you sell it for 80, you're making some money on that. But there's no way you're making $2,000 an hour. So although this is okay, this is better. So you need to determine in your business, where are you spending your time and where does the business get the most value of your time? So the trap.
Just quickly, guys, if you're a painting business owner and you're overworked, overwhelmed, and underpaid, we can help. Hit the link below in the show notes to learn more. Now back to the episode.
The trap has started because you started doing sales and marketing, you started getting on the tools doing quotes, and you're doing business administration. And you are stuck in this loop going 40, 50, 60, 70 hours per week. So you're probably wondering now, okay, I understand that, Taz. I understand the 3 core functions of the business. I understand the 3 areas that I'm spending my time. I understand the highest level. You determine what that is. I want you to do that number. Find out your total revenue divided by the total number of hours you do in sales and marketing, divide it, and that's what it is. How do I get out of the trap? How do I get my time back? How do I stop being the bottleneck? How do I stop being the person that everybody comes to? Good question. So it is actually the reverse of what you did. So the reverse of what you did is you're over here. So you started here once upon a time. You started over here. You did that. And you went over here. And now you're doing all three. Now, the reverse of that is what it says. You're over here. And your job is to get out of this task and into here. And then get out of this task and into here. I know it's getting a little bit messy right now, but this is the reverse because you understand now that how do I get my 10 hours back per week? Now, let's be conservative. Let's say that 10 drops to 3 hours. Because you're going to do something, you're going to read some emails, you're going to do a little bit of administration, and you find someone else to support you with that 7 hours. Now, you're probably thinking, Taz, I don't want to pay someone 7, 8 hours at $50 an hour to run my admin because it's going to cost me $400. But the opportunity is it's costing you $400, but that 8 hours, if you're doing over here at $2,000 an hour, could make you $16,000. So as much as you think I'm saving $400, it's actually costing you $15,600 by staying there. So your number one step is to get out of output as quick as possible. Go down to 3 hours. What's going to happen is you're going to come over here because you know what you do next? Now, this process of getting out of being trapped in your business is probably a 6 to 12 month process. But what else are you going to do? You're running the business anyway. This is not more work. This is less work. You're going to take that 7 hours you made up and come over here. And guess what? You're going to build processes here so your operational team becomes more efficient because you're going to take that 7 hours and make this more efficient and maybe get it up to $90 an hour. You're making an extra $10 per hour for 5 guys. $10 per hour, 8 hour day, $80 by 5, $400. You make an extra $400 per day. Guess what? Every day you pay this person off because you became more efficient here, let alone that you start hitting your target and budgets because you built systems and processes. Because there's 2 parts to this. Part 1 is, am I charging enough? Pricing. Part 2 is performance. Is my team hitting the target budget hours per week, per month, per quarter, per year? Yes or no? So your job is to take your time here. I haven't added to 50 hours. I have not added any more hours. I'm taking the hours you're already using and using it for a higher level activity. Again, this is not overnight. This is over a period of time. Easily, you could do $1 million business, could do this in 12 months. You come over here and you become more productive. So this time now, you're using that 7 hours to reduce this time because now you're building system, processes, targets, operational capacity, and probably training someone to replace you. So your 30 hours now drops down to 10. Because you probably want to check on the jobs 2 hours a day. You want to do running around. You like the guys. You like being on the tools. The difference is you're not doing operations because you have to. You're doing it because you want to. Very different game. Very different skill set. And what happens with the extra 20 hours you bought here? Remember, the 7 came here. Now you've got 20 hours over here. You bring some over here. And maybe you jump that up to 20 because you know that times 2 is that way more money. So how do we go from $1 million to $2 million? You need to get more time here. Now there's 2 things to focus on when we get to this component, okay? It is, do I have the skill sets to improve my marketing? As in, I need to get more of the qualified people that I want to work with coming to our business so I can quote. Remember, marketing is getting someone to the door, sales is getting them through the door. So do you have some marketing skills? Yes or no? I don't know. If not, go get them because now you've got time. Or do you get better at sales? Because now you have the time. in the same amount of time, you're working on the highest level activity. Your ROI of your time is much better here than here. Way better. So if you want to get out of the trap of your painting business, you need to do these 3 core things. 1, know where your time is being spent. That's step 1. Step 2 is a hybrid. Know that you need to get yourself out of this, and this. I didn't say 0, because you need to get your time back. This is not going from 50 to 80 hours. This is staying at 50 hours, but using your time more effectively. I don't know how to make money here. I just don't know how to do it. If you know how to make money in admin, can you please put in the comments or share with me, send me something? Because if I could, I would. I don't know how to do it. You do know how to make money here because you used to be on the tools and you used to paint. So you do know how to sell your time and other people's time for money. But it's capped. It's only going to be capped at what you can charge at. So if you believe you can only charge $100 an hour, you are capped at $100 an hour. Capped. Versus over here, it's sales. It's scalable. You can either get better at marketing and bring more quality jobs in, or you can get better at sales and charge what you're worth and win more jobs. This is not dependent on time. Your ability to win more profitable work doesn't require you to do more talking. It requires you to get better at it. And the freedom comes from removing yourself from the activities that are compliance. Throughput, let me be clear. Throughput is the most complex part of your business to build. All complexity in painting businesses, all of it is found between these 2 lines. All of it. Between that line and that line, 90% of your complexity is found between those 2 lines. Here, skill set, repetition. Get better at sales, get better at communication, get better at marketing, do the reps, understand communication. You can get better at this. Not that complex, just needs time and practice. Business administration. It's all process driven. Systems, automation, AI. This doesn't get more complex over time. If anything, if you have job management systems, if you have job management software, CRMs, whatever you have, Xero, which is an accounting software, Mile, are systems that create simplicity here. It doesn't get more complex. Over time, this gets more automated. It actually gets easier here. What doesn't get easier is scheduling and delivery. All complexity lies here. The value to your business is moving to where the business makes the most money. Now, I hear you saying, Faz, I don't actually like sales. Cool. If you don't like sales, that's fine. You need to understand that someone else needs to do this for you, and you stay here and build this operational performance. There's nothing wrong with working. You work where you feel like working, but the ultimate goal is to get out of the trap of being trapped in your business. Because overall, if you think about it, run out of room, the reason why I can run a painting business that does high 7 figures and I'm not in here, or here is because I have processes, I have operational processes, and I have sales processes, and I have the team to do it. However, I sit here and I need to manage all of this. So I know the data and information from each area, but I don't need to be the one to do the tasks and track the tasks. I just look at the performance and coach a performance. So inherently, I am a coach to my own business in these 3 areas: my sales team, my operational team, and my business management team. Whether you want to be the manager of your business or not, it all comes down to how much time you want your business to run without you. My goal was to let the business run with me less than 1 day a week. That was the goal. And that's how I did it. However, even if it's to run 3 days a week. It's the same process. Where you inject yourself depends on what you like doing. The difference is, if you're doing something because you have to, it's unlikely you like it. If you're doing something because you like to, that means you have the ability to not do it 1 or 2 days a week whenever you feel like it, and you'll like it even more. So I framed this video and I framed this podcast under one question. Are you trapped? My question to you is, do you want to get untrapped? Do you want to get out of the bottleneck? We naturally got into business this way and we're trapped. How to get out? It's the reverse. Systems and compliance, complexity, skill set. Where do you fit in? Please, I have not met a painter that says, Taz, I just want to sit at a desk and do data entry and invoicing. I love it so much. If that's the case, then you need to find guns here and guns here, because this is not going to make you money. Please don't feel like you're saving money by only spending, by not hiring someone to do that. You're not actually saving money. It's actually costing you more money. It costs you the difference between those two for that. Got any questions? Hit me up. Otherwise, I'd love to hear some comments. Stay cool, be well, and I'll see you on the interwebs. Bye.
Hey guys, if you got value from today's episode, make sure to subscribe so you never miss expert tips. If you want some support, check out the link in the show notes and see how we can help you. Don't forget to follow us on socials @PainterCoach. Stay cool, be well, and as usual, see you in the interwebs. Bye.